Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hillary's Whiskey Lounge. My name is Hillary, and this is my Whiskey Lounge. And today we're going to do something a little unusual for me, anyway. I'm going to be reviewing this highly accessible and relatively inexpensive and only 43% ABV Highland Park 12-year-old. It's the Viking Honor. Now, this indeed is one of the old bottlings. Highland Park has changed up its packaging, its look. It's a lot more. It's simpler. It doesn't have all this Viking stuff all over it. Well, first of all, a little bit about Highland Park. It started distilling in 1798. It's technically classified as a Highland whiskey, a Highland single malt, even though it's from the island of Orkney, Kirkwall to be precise, the city, the little town in Orkney. The Orkney Islands are way north, off the, I guess, northeast tip of Scotland. You do definitely have to take a ferry to get there. And the Orkney Islands were at some point, and I'm not sure exactly when, settled by slash invaded by Norsemen, hence all this Viking stuff um, that and I'll read to you some of the brands of this older version of um, Highland Park. The name itself is a little not Viking-y to me. The name Highland Park doesn't sound really tough, although some of the bottlings have these very tough, cool Viking names. Now the new packaging, the new branding is like I said, it's a little more it's simplified. It's actually a little more delicate and very I think very pretty. Now, I don't know why I ended up with this one. I guess where I got this, they didn't have the new bottlings, but I thought I'd do something that, as I said before, is really accessible. You can get Highland Park almost anywhere, um, and I got this bottle for $50 US, so it's relatively less expensive than some of the bottles I've been showing you. So let's open this guy up. Okay. In fact, there's this comes in a cask strength, and then the the new bottlings has a cask strength that's called Heather, and I really do want to try that. I just couldn't find it at the time, so I will go back to the store and get that. All right. And by the way, Highland Park is owned by the Edrington Group, which owns the Macallan and Glenrothes, and then a rum, I forget what it's called, and a gin. So it is a group. I did do some research, and this particular bottle is, I believe, chill filtered, um, and supposedly natural color. So all of the new expressions and the new branding, supposedly those are all unchill filtered and natural color. Um, so yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a second too. Okay, and another reason why we're doing this is because it's slightly peated, and so I wanted to continue easing you guys into peat flavors. All right. Oh, okay, that cork was on tight. Okay, so natural color is good, but because it's been chill filtered, we're going to have a much different mouthfeel. Um, no Scotch mist. That's too bad. Let me let you have a close-up look at this bottle. It's really gorgeous. You can see all the sort of Viking-y stuff on here. Now the new branding doesn't have any of this stuff on it. And there's even on the back some design. Oh, hi. Little visitor. Say hi to Nala. Nala's got her little shirt on because it's kind of cold. Hi, Nala. You want to try some Viking Honor with me today? Yeah? Okay. All right. Where are you going? Go over there. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm cold. All right. Hence the tartan. Okay. All right. So here is this color. This is matured in a combination of first fill sherry casks. The kind of sherry is not, I couldn't find what that kind of sherry was. And then also second fill casks. But it does have a really nice light amber sherried appearance to it. Okay. Mm. All right, on the nose. Um, really floral. It smells like um, jasmine and daisies and other really nice bright flowers. And heather, if you've ever smelled heather, if you've been lucky enough to be in the Highlands. And by the way, the peat isn't just regular bog peat, but the peat that is harvested in Orkney is heather peat. So I guess because of the proliferation. Sorry, I haven't had any of this yet, because of there's so much heather growing in the Orkneys and all over the land there that a predominant amount of the peat is from the heather plants, as opposed to sphagnum moss and other plants that are um, very delicately rotting and decaying in the earth. Okay, all right. So heather. Yes, very light, very floral. Doesn't feel very Viking-y to me right now. I'm not smelling too much of the peatiness. I did read that um, of the 27 hours that their barley is dried for, the first 9 are with peat smoke, with the heather peat, and then the rest of the drying um, is non-peated, so just the hot air. And another something cool, about that hot air is that the Highland Park Distillery is trying to lessen their carbon footprint. And so the heat that's lost from the distilling process, they're somehow recapturing that heat and using that to dry the barley, to do the malting. So that's kind of cool. They have a goal of becoming or having a zero carbon footprint by 2045. So they've got 9 years left, and they're also part of an initiative. It's the Scientific Technology Initiative or something like that. I'll put the um, link in the description box. But really working with other corporations and businesses to for sustainability, low carbon footprint, and everything. So it is kind of cool. I don't know if that's all of Edrington or just Highland Park. Um, Actually, I think it's all of Edrington because on their website that includes so much information about all of their brands. That's where I found that information. So yeah, okay, all right. So very un-Viking like floral scent, kind of spicy. The bottle says spicy and round, just like me. Um, Somewhere on here it says spicy and round. um, yeah, spicy and floral. That's it. Okay, let's taste. So 43%, no water yet. Mm, mm. Very floral, very citrusy, kind of lemony. And then the finish, wow, the finish is spicy, and that's where I'm getting a little bit of peat. This is hardly peated. In fact, it's supposed to be 30 to 40 parts per million um, of the peatiness. And I forget um, what did we do last time? Oh, we did the Ardnamurchan, I think, and that was um, just 20. So I can hardly taste the peat in this. But again, if you're trying to transition into smoky peated whiskeys, this might be a good place to start, which is actually why I am reviewing this with you today. I recall having some of this, I don't know, about a year or two ago, and it seemed much more peaty to me. It was the cask strength. It was like cask strength batch 2. I think they're on batch 5 now. Um, and it seemed much more peaty to me. Hmm. Maybe that's because it was unchill filtered, because the cask strengths are not chill filtered. So, hmm. Speaking of being chill filtered, I don't get the same really cool, um, oily, thick, viscous mouthfeel from this that I've gotten from some of the other ones that I've reviewed with you. Most of the other ones. Hmm. Yeah, really citrusy, sweet. That's the sherry coming through. And the finish is definitely spicy and slightly peaty. Okay, it's not sharp on the tongue or anything. That 40 43%. Um, I really don't like buying whiskeys this weak. I like being more in control and getting cask strengths or just ones that are at least 46% like Springbank, where I can control um, how almost weak and harmless they are. All right, let's put a little tiny bit of water, maybe 2 or 3 mils of water. I'm looking at a cat running around on the on the floor. My other cat that you haven't seen yet. She's chasing after a little piece of whiskey cap that's on the floor. They make great cat toys. Okay, so we're not going to get any Scotch mist out of this because of the chill filtering. Okay, all right. It's really opened up the aroma. The heather scent is really coming out now, and still very floral. And I'm sensing a little bit of the peat, just a tiny, tiny bit, a little bit more than when before I added water. Okay, Slanjua. Okay, much more spicy on the palate. Um, oh, I really opened up, and I just added a little bit of water. The palate is just much more spicy, as well as the finish. I'm getting a lot more peat flavor from this, but not overwhelming. So if you again have had a bad experience with peat before, or you've just smelled it and you just want to stay away from it, having something like this Ardnamurchan that I did last week. This was the Ardnamurchan Madeira cask, very, very lightly peated, and um, and now this, very, very lightly peated. This seems like a huge bottle though, too. It's very heavy and thick. The shape of the new bottle is similar, but it doesn't, like I said, doesn't have all this um, Viking stuff on it. Um, so yeah, the spiciness is really coming through, um, and the peat just a little bit, but not enough to scare you off. If you drank this and I hadn't told you that there was any peat used in the malting process, you probably wouldn't even taste it. It tastes less peaty than even Springbank does, and they do I don't know, maybe a half or a quarter. I don't know. Can you guys find out how much what percentage of the malting and the drying process does Springbank use? Okay. Hmm. Let me read you some of these really cool Viking names. And I'm getting this from the 2026 Malt Whiskey Yearbook. I definitely recommend this. Oh, here are pictures of this is the new bottle. with just one little tiny Viking thing on there, but very, very simple, very straightforward. Okay. So some of the old Viking names. Magnus, who is the founder distiller, um, local smuggler and businessman Magnus Ewenson previously operated an illicit whiskey production on the site in 1798. So there's um, a, an expression called Magnus and Saint Magnus, Leif Erikson, of course. Um, let's see. Loki, yay, was a duty free in 2013. The Warriors, Freya, Dark Origins, Odin. So, of course, if there's Freya and Loki, there has to be an Odin. Um, King Christian the First, Valkyrie, Dragon Legend, Voyage of the Raven, The Dark and the Light. Let's see. Duty-free bottlings include Spirit of the Bear, Loyalty of the Wolf, and Wings of the Eagle. So these names are what Twisted Tattoo, Valfather, Triskelion, um, and then that's it. Now there's the Sherry Skies, the Swallows Return, and the new one. It's a Heather. I forget what. Let's see. Yeah, the new 12-year-old doesn't say anything about Vikings at all. But the new cask strength is a heathery expression too. Let's see. And the website, their highlandpark.com website goes more and more into detail about it. Let's see. Um, okay, so like I said, very accessible, relatively inexpensive, so $50 US a bottle. Um, very lightly peated and somewhat spicy. Right up there with the Compass Box Spice Tree. So whatever they're doing, whatever kind of sherry barrels they're using, they're really getting that spice down a bit. So um, yeah, the new bottles I think would make a good gift, a decent gift. I don't know to what extent all of their expressions are peaty, if they still do that. The first 9 hours of drying the barley. Um, if that's for all of them across the board, um, but it's good. Okay, I'm not overly wowed by it. It's not definitely not one of my favorites. Like the Glendronachs and the Edgedours and so forth, but just slightly sherry forward. Um, and that's all I can really tell you about it. So not, like I said, not wowed, but I wanted to do something for you that was very slightly peated, and accessible, and with a bunch of fun names. Okay. The cool thing from my Scotch lounge that I want to show you today, excuse me, is actually not a thing, but it's a movie. And if you're into Scotch and um, you like independent films from the UK, there is a very sweet little film from 2012, directed by Ken Loach. Pronounce think you pronounce his name. It's Loach, who is British. It looks like it should say Loach, but but I think it's Loch. Loch. I'm sorry, Mr. Loch, for butchering your name. The movie is called The Angel's Share, and if you are into whiskey and you're an enthusiast, you know what the Angel's Share is. If you don't know what that is, it's basically the perspiration and evaporation of the whiskey when it's in a barrel, and it dissipates and evaporates through the wood of the cask. And so every year there's a slight percentage of the liquid that disappears into the warehouse. And so when you walk into a warehouse and you just smell this amazing aroma of whiskeys aging, what you're smelling is called the Angel's Share. So this movie, it's very cute. It's about, I mean, it's not meant to be cute, but I found it really sweet. Um, and it's supposed to be kind of lighthearted where these mild criminals, they're rather young men, and I think one woman, who instead of having to go to prison for their various crimes, they have to do community service. And so they meet, they get together, and the driver befriends them and sort of serves as their mentor and introduces them to the world of whiskey. And they end up finding this cask that's going to be in some distillery's warehouse on display and up for bidding, and they try to steal some bottles of whiskey from this super important cask, in order to make some money, in order to sell it kind of on the black market and to make some money. But the cool thing about this, so not only is it funny and cute, and there's beautiful shots of the countryside, the music in it is great, but Charles MacLean, our master of the quick, Charles MacLean, the whiskey guru, um, about whose books I've talked to you, has a cameo as a whiskey connoisseur, and he leads a tasting. And so he's in this, which is very, very cool. He doesn't have to act too much because he's just talking about his own thing. So he's in that too. And so it's a charming is the good word for this movie. So not cute, not adorable. It's just charming. It's only 109 minutes long, so you're not going to lose too much of your evening watching this movie. You can, I think, find it for rent on Prime Video. UK people, sorry, I don't know how that works over there for UK Amazon and Prime. I just rented it for a couple days. Once you start watching it, I think they give you 48 hours to complete it. So yeah, and it actually won an award at Cannes in 2012, the jury prize or something. So it's not a complete waste of time. It's actually kind of cute, and they do the young men and their mentor figure. They go on a tour of the distillery, and they get to see how everything's done, and it's just it's nice. So anyway, it's called The Angel's Share. Watch it and enjoy it, and that's the kind of fun, cool thing from my distillery that I wanted to share with you today. And also, thank you guys so much if you've hung on this far with me and this Highland Park um, Viking honor, Vikings honor bottle. Again, to try to get us to go down the road of peat and slight smoke. Don't worry, we're going to crank it up, and we're going to get into that Lafroig and Lagavulin and Ardbeg, and some peated expressions of Kilchoman and even Bunnahabhain. So we've got some peat in our future. Um, and I really want to thank you for watching. If you are an enthusiast, or if you're just beginning, if you have some friends who are beginning their Scotch journey, please share my videos with them. And Slunjava, I hope everybody has a good week, and stay warm.